Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of ATI Live. I'm here with Emma Hewitt, who's live from Australia. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, good evening for you. How you doing?
It works. Just good.
Good, just good. Yeah, good day.
So you've been awake for what, about an hour?
About an hour. I'm not a morning person. I'm only on my first coffee, and I don't tend to function very well until about coffee number 2. So we'll see how the sentences come out.
Well, I promise not to bombard you with anything ridiculous. We'll keep this as simple as possible, if that's okay.
Nice one. Dumb it down a little bit for me right now. Yeah.
We got you. Cool. We're winding down. You're starting your day. We're both at the same level right now. It's good.
Perfect.
Awesome. So you've always dreamt about being a singer, is that right?
Yeah, to be honest, ever since I can remember, even when my parents would ask me when I was about 4 or 5 years old, what do I want to be when I grow up? It was always never any question about it. I want to be a singer. And people would say, what are you going to do for your real job though? And I'm like, no, that's it. That's all I want to do. So it's just always been a part of me.
So how did this kind of all come about? Did you start with showcases when you were in Australia? What brought you from Australia to London? Because I know that's where you kind of picked up for a while.
Yeah, actually, it was such a strange and rocky journey. There was never any direct path, but I started singing in bands when I was about probably 15 or 16 years old in Australia, just, pub bands and blues bands and whatever else, and just to get out there and start playing music. And my brother and I always wrote songs together, and eventually we just kept making demos and sending them to management people and labels, and eventually we got a publishing deal with BMG over here when we were about 19 years old. So after we signed publishing with BMG, we started writing for other people and things like that and learning more about pop writing. And I did a couple of writing trips over to London then and moved over there for a while, thinking that I was going over for a record deal at the time, which fell through. But it was a great experience and everything led me to where I am now, But yeah, it's been a kind of long roundabout journey to get into dance music where I feel like I was always meant to end up.
So what were your favorite artists growing up? Who were you listening to?
I loved all of the 90s kind of rock stuff. I was a bit of a grunge kid, and I listened to Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Smashing Pumpkins, huge Eddie Vedder fan. Tori Amos was always a really big inspiration to me. We always used to listen to Tegan and Sarah to vibe ourselves up on the way to the studio and stuff like that, the more kind of fun acoustic music. So, but yeah, anything that's good music, really. My dad was a very big Fleetwood Mac and the Eagles and Pink Floyd and those kinds of things fan as well. And so I grew up kind of teaching myself harmonies to the Eagles and Fleetwood Mac and stuff as well on long car journeys across Australia.
So I remember from our ATI when we did the write-up yesterday that you were talking about how you were in England and you came back to Australia. Was that a really difficult part? Tell us about that transition from going to England and everything falling through and then coming back home.
Yeah, that was actually really tough. And I think it's one of those, it's almost like one of those transitional phases that you kind of have to go through to grow up, I think, a little bit. You need to have a few setbacks and a few knockdowns to kind of realize who you are and grow your own strength, I think. But at the time, it was very, very difficult. We sold everything that we owned. We'd had a really good publishing deal and earned a bit of money and bought a lot of studio equipment. We sold all of that and moved to England. And in a couple of months of living in England, we'd spent all of that on surviving, and our deal that we went over there for just kept getting pushed back, and eventually fell through. I stayed there for 2 years and worked 3 jobs pretty much around the clock just to survive because I had too much pride to come home as a failure, and I still spent every minute that I got off trying to do co-writes with people and push something, but it just wasn't to be at that particular time. And when I came home, you find when you've been away and you've been through an experience like that, all your friends have changed. Everybody's moved on with their lives. You've been gone for a couple of years and you kind of come back feeling a bit lost. I came back to my parents' house as well and thought, I felt successful and now I have to move back in with my parents for a while. And it was a bit of a tough soul-searching time, but I don't know, I think they call it the dark night of the soul or something. That was my first one of those to go through and realize that it's like the universe tests us to go, how much do you want this? Are you going to give up now? Or are you going to keep going with it? And, had a couple of those times. And I think they just test how much you actually want to continue on. A lot of people just give up and go, okay, I'll do something else now. But yeah, it just kind of made me more determined. So it was good in the end.
Yeah, for you, it was kind of everything or nothing. You, like you said, it was never going to be anything else. Like, you were always going to be a singer. It's not like you had, went to school and had a career to fall back on. It was really kind of a one-way ticket, and there's no stopping. And I think that's
Yes.
a lot of the reasons why we enjoy having you here on Aspire to Inspire, because of that kind of never give up attitude, especially because you didn't kind of go through it alone. You had your brother, right? Like, you guys have a really close personal relationship.
We do. We're really good mates. We're kind of like twins that were born a year apart, and we've always written together. We've always, even since we were teenagers at school, we'd always play in bands together. So it's really good that we've had that relationship. And when one of us starts to lose sight a little bit, the other one of us will put us back on path. And it never seems to be both of us at once that are kind of, losing faith. So it's good. We can always prep each other up again, which is nice. But neither of us gave ourselves any other options. We both got offered good schooling and everything, and we both said, no, this is the only way. If we've got anything else that's good enough to distract us, then we'll surely just get taken down that path, and we don't want that. So we gave ourselves no fallback, which is maybe a bit stupid, but
no. I think having that support system is the best part. I mean, you have someone that you can kind of lean on and contact. And you guys ended up starting a management company and a record label together, correct?
Yeah, we have. Well, we decided years after this kind of happened with London, we came back and we signed a deal with Sony Records in Australia, we recorded our own record, and Sony got wind of it and they signed it. And then that all ended up falling through as well, and another similar thing happened. So after that, we kind of thought, we've been doing this for quite a few years now, and we've seen how many things can go wrong as soon as you put everything that's your heart and soul into somebody else's hands, and you expect that they're going to have your best interests at heart the way that you do. And we just found out over and over again that wasn't the case. People drop the ball, or they've got other priorities. So we thought we have to start our own management company and our own record label and just take care of this ourselves, because we're the only ones that are going to completely have our own best interests. And that's worked out really well. Ant's the organizational brains behind everything, and I'm the more kind of flighty, creative kind of person, but together it's like a yin yang kind of thing.
So what were kind of some of the struggles or the things that you guys had learned from, or kind of ran into with the business side of music? Because you guys, like you said, have always been songwriters and have always been musical, but what kind of were the growing pains that you guys had creating your label and management company?
Yeah, actually creating the label and the company was quite easy for a start. Then we had the challenges of Anthony, my brother, he's worked within record labels before, and he's worked within publishing as well as the creative side. So he's very experienced in those areas, but we did get a bit of that, oh, your brother's managing you, is he? Like, oh, you guys aren't very professional, or you're not going to be good enough. So he had to fight a lot against that to prove his worth and to prove how he can pretty much stand alongside anybody in the industry and do his job, and he really does. He's fantastic. And the financial side and things like that for us, with all the shows coming in from different countries and whatever else, having to just do your own tax and account for everything yourselves and all of that was a bit challenging for a start, because they don't teach you that in school, do they? And all of a sudden you've got all these different currencies and different tax systems and stuff to deal with. But we're pushing through it, and we've got a bit of a handle on everything now, I think.
Yeah, I think you're doing a good job. I don't know if you agree.
Yes. Well, we always have our setbacks, but things are always kind of pushing ahead nicely. It's good.
That's great. So let's talk about how you want to make a difference. I know you have this legacy, or you have this ideal that you want to create once you said that you get the proper network. And can you tell us about kind of what you want to do to give back?
Yeah. Firstly, I think I love the idea that music can be quite inspiring to many people, and I really hope my main goal with creating music is to try and inspire some people the way that I was inspired when I was growing up and heard music that perhaps resonated with me. But as far as financially goes, I really want to be in a position to be able to help different charities or things like that. We recently did a bit of a fundraiser for a charity called Pencils of Promise, which we were able to raise enough money to go and help build a school for underprivileged children in another country, which was wonderful, and it felt really nice to be able to do that. And that was on a very small scale, so it would be nice to do that on a much larger scale, and perhaps help out some other people that might not be in a position to do the same for themselves.
Mm-hmm. So what about like for not just a charity, but you know, for inspiring other people, like, you know, your fans, I am sure you get a lot of people who come up to you, you know, after shows and are saying, oh, your music, you know, it moves me, it, you know, it had this, it had that. Yeah, what about those people? Like, what kind of message or what kind of ways would you want to inspire those people, you know, not just Pencils of Promise?
Yeah, that's the best thing for me. The thing that when I was growing up and I discovered music that at that particular time became the soundtrack to my life. And I still, you know, if I still hear an Eddie Vedder song or something, I'll still picture driving down a country road in Australia, being a teenager, and just all those same thoughts and feelings. And you know, so I really want to create in some way songs that even if one or two people out there will resonate with that song, and it might either make them think in a different way or inspire them to do something different. Or just to kind of help be a part of different people's memories out there. I think that's a really special feeling, and it's really an honor to be able to be a part of that in other people's lives. So for me, it's that connection that you can have with people all over the world that you would never otherwise be able to meet, but in some way you're all connected through music, and that feeling, yeah, it's very, very special, and that's really what drives me to create music.
Oh, that's awesome. You're so awesome. Oh man, I love you. You're great.
I hope I'm making sense. I haven't got to the bottom of my first coffee yet. So
what even the second cup? I want to know, like, what, because you're great already. So like, is the second cup going to be like just you're throwing out all these awesome philosophical like?
I probably should talk a lot faster and feel like I'm saying something more important, but maybe it's just coming out faster. I don't know.
You feel your heart beating out of your chest after the second cup.
No, I'm quite a coffee addict actually. It takes me about 3 cups to just kind of be like on a normal human level these days. But that's the late nights and the flights and the jet lag. You kind of start to rely on caffeine. It's not very healthy, is it?
No, it's not.
Sorry, I shouldn't be saying that. But yeah, it's true.
You got to stay fresh, like your shirt says, right?
Oh no, I know, that's true. I'm trying to remind myself. Yeah, start tomorrow.
Tomorrow's a good day. Tomorrow's a good day to start anything, right?
Yeah. That's true, exactly. Yeah.
So you're one of the most prominent females in the music industry, and I know a lot lately, you know, has been all this criticism and all these women speaking out and saying, you know, there needs to be more equality, there needs to be more recognition. What's kind of your take on everything?
Yeah, you know, I actually kind of feel a lot differently to a lot of the people that are speaking out about it. I kind of feel like I've never actually encountered that. I encountered you're a vocalist in a DJ-driven world. So I was fighting to prove myself that, no, vocalists can be heard too. I'm going to do this and do it the best that I possibly can. And I feel as though with all of us, if any of us just focus on what we do ourselves and do it to the best of our abilities and talents and push ahead, then we will be recognised for those talents and abilities or for the work that we're putting in, no matter what gender. So gender's never really been an issue to me. I was like, what? When people started asking me that, I thought, oh gosh, I've been focusing on being a singer and trying to make myself heard in that sense. I forgot I was a female in the male industry. I didn't think of it. But I do also believe that occasionally if we draw too much attention to these things, like if we're saying there's no equality, we need equality, we're actually drawing attention to the fact that there's no equality and we're actually causing a divide. I think if we all just put our heads down and focus on doing what we do as well as we can possibly do it, then nobody's going to notice whether a girl or a guy. They're just going to go, she's good or he's good or they're not so good or whatever, you know, it doesn't matter to me.
Well, you said you didn't notice that there was kind of a separation between males and females in the industry. Like, do you think that have you ever noticed it being any different as a vocalist? I know there's a lot of male vocalists and there's a lot of females. Like, you don't even see the separation there, not just from DJ to vocalist, like?
I noticed that there was that separation, but I just thought perhaps there's not that many girls out there that are just really pushing and being, you know, in the industry that I was in. I just thought maybe there's just not as so many, and I was probably wrong about that because I'm sure that there are. But yeah, still, to be honest, I just went, there's not that many vocalists getting live shows. And there was a couple of, actually, to be honest, because there was Jess and Nadia Ali who were doing fantastically, and then Christian Burns as well. So I felt like the ratio of female to male with the vocalists that were actually getting out there was quite equal. It's just the fact that there's not so many vocalists out there touring and doing the live shows. So for me, I was like, that's my point to prove, and that's where I really want to make my mark. I didn't the gender thing just didn't really enter my head. I'd spent many years fighting against you're just a songwriter when I was with BMG, or now you're just a rock singer when everything's turning electronic. And then when I went into electronic, now you're in an underground genre. So there's always something to fight against, that there's other people that are more mainstream, or, you're in a minority in some sense. So I guess the gender thing is just another small minority thing that I never really gave too much thought to.
You're just like, I'm just gonna do my own thing, and if someone's got a problem with it, oh well.
Exactly. Yeah. I never, to be honest, also never really worried too much about what everybody else was doing. I just went, okay, this is what I want to do, and this is where I want to be, and these are the songs that I want to create. And if I want them to come out in the way that I want them to come out in, I'm going to have to do this, this, and this. I didn't really look at the negatives that were surrounding, or anything that, I don't know, any other issues around that. I just kind of focused on where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. Blinkers on.
Even if you have the blinkers on, there still aren't, people who are saying like, no, like, you are still just vocalist. Like I'm sure even at your success, there are still people who are pushing back and still trying to, diminish what you've accomplished, right?
Definitely, yeah. And I do fight against that a bit with the vocalist thing, but I feel like, I come from a pop industry and a rock industry where vocalists are at the forefront, and live performing is very, very important. So I always had an unwavering belief that, of course, this can work. People do want to see live music, even if they're there watching a DJ. And I think it's working a lot more these days. I think a lot more people are becoming open to seeing live music in amongst the DJ performances and stuff, and the festivals are much more open to it now as well. So people are incorporating live instruments and live vocalists and stuff in electronic music heaps more, which is fantastic to see. But you still do fight against that a little bit. There's some people go, "Oh, you're just a singer, you're not a DJ." But yeah, it's I don't really care. There's no point listening to those people, because then you just start doubting yourself, I guess.
Have you ever tried DJing?
No, I'm definitely going to leave that to the people that can do it. I'm hopeless. I struggle with my TV remote. I think that, I can, live instruments I enjoy, and I can work with Logic and things like that to record the live things. But DJing, I think there's people that do it really well already. So I'll focus on what I do and leave that to them. I think I would be very disrespectful to them if I tried to jump on board and do it badly.
Have you ever had any of your like DJ friends try to sing like a track for you, and you'd be like, this is not going to work out for you?
No, I haven't, but I have had a couple of like acquaintance friends that have tried to sing tracks for me and send them through, or write lyrics and stuff like that, and which is really nice. It's really nice when that happens, but yeah, sometimes it doesn't work.
Singing's not for everybody. It's okay. We all have our
yeah. I guess most people could probably try it now with auto-tune and stuff like that, but that's not right. It doesn't make it right.
Auto-tune is wrong. It's so wrong.
It's very wrong. Very wrong.
Yeah, we should be dance music against auto-tune. How's that? We can start
definitely.
Yeah.
Start a campaign.
So I have a question. What's the next hair color that's going on up here? Because you love changing your hair colors. Like every time I see you, it's completely different. It's blue. It's it's blonde. Like, is that part of your individuality? That's just like you're expressing yourself, or is it just kind of like I got bored, so I decided to change my hair color?
A bit of both. Yeah, I do. Well, because I have such short hair now, and I every time I try and grow it out, it starts to look like a mushroom. So I keep shaving it again. I actually cut it myself in Jakarta with a leg razor, shaved it all off again because I got a little bit frustrated with it because it grows outwards. So the only way I can change it, I can't grow it. Oh, but yours is fantastic. Yours is the great curls. Mine just grows like a mushroom kind of. It's not so good. So I just color it to change it because it gets a bit boring having short hair. If you just leave it short, it's just boring. So today's pink, but I'm thinking of going blue again in a week or two. I think I'll try that.
I like that. Did you ever think about just doing like full on rainbow, just every color at once? Just let's do it.
I would love to have rainbow hair. That would be my dream. If I could find somebody that could make rainbow hair happen for me, I would be there in a flash.
That sounds awesome. I wish I had your ambition, or not your ambition, your bravery to color your hair. That sounds awesome though. I feel like I would just turn into a snow cone. It wouldn't really go
It's great as it is. You don't need to do anything to it. It's fantastic.
I'll get my hair coloring tips from you. You and I can powwow after this, and you can show me your ways. How's that sound?
Awesome. Sounds like a plan.
Do we have time for a couple questions? Are you down?
Sure, for sure. Yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome. So as we said, everyone can use the hashtag ATI Live, and we're gonna pull some from Facebook and Twitter.
Cool.
Let's see. From Twitter, any more thoughts towards missing hours in the next year?
Oh, interesting. Somebody's heard of missing hours. That's nice. Well, to be honest, I would absolutely love to do something else with missing hours again. But the band kind of fell through when our deal with Sony fell through. But my brother and I were still the core members, and another friend of ours, Tim Henwood, who is an amazing guitarist and does a lot of my recordings. He was in the band too. So maybe the three of us will do something again that's a little bit more rock based one day. I'd really love to. So I won't count it out, but at the moment there's no immediate plans. I'd love to. I would love to.
We've got some questions about when you're touring, especially in Europe. So do you have any kind of upcoming dates, especially maybe France?
I would absolutely love to. I haven't actually toured in France before, and I'd love to go to France. I don't have any upcoming dates in France at the moment, but we're only just now starting to book European summer. So I'm really, really hoping that, anybody out there, book me for France. I want to come. But I'm really hoping that something comes up for France really soon. That would be fantastic. But again, nothing set in stone for that as yet. It's the more immediate stuff is Asia and America, and then Europe will be a little bit later in the summer, I think.
Awesome. So where are you going in America? I would love to see you, obviously.
Oh, cool. Well, I'll be in St. Louis in about probably 2 or 3 weeks, and then San Diego about a week after that, I think. And then the next dates I don't actually have set, but I hope to come back to Philadelphia soon. So I'll let you know as soon as I'm going to be in Philadelphia and we can hang out. That'd be awesome.
We can go get our hair dyed. It'd be awesome. We'll go thrift shopping and we'll get our hair done.
Drink coffee. Yeah.
Karaoke. Karaoke is always awesome.
Oh gosh, I was in a karaoke room in Indonesia last weekend actually, which was really hilarious. They love their karaoke rooms there. It was awesome. Really
What's
fun.
your go-to song?
I don't sing karaoke for some reason. I can't do it. But I was just laughing at the Indonesian guys were all singing, serenading us. It was fantastic. But yeah, I don't do karaoke. I don't know why. It's just not.
I feel like that'd
makes me embarrassed. I feel like awkward. Yeah, no, I get a bit shy actually doing karaoke and stuff like that. I feel a little bit, I don't know, it's different. If you're on stage singing, you can't see everybody. It's a bit different. Karaoke is a bit more in everyone's face.
All right, fair enough. Let's see what other question. Wait, you said you're going to Asia, right?
Yeah, I'll be back there in, oh gosh, I don't have the dates in front of me right now, but I'll be back over that way, I think in Kuala Lumpur quite soon, and I'm not sure when else. So I would say I'm definitely going back over there in a couple of weeks' time. So.
Sounds good to me. Let's see if we can find some more questions.
Put my dates in front of me, shouldn't I? But whoops.
This one guy said he loves your shirt. Where'd you get your shirt?
Thank you. I'm just talking about that. I got it from a vintage store in LA, and yeah, I was just like, stay fresh. I have to get that. But yeah, it's very 70s. I just love that the broccoli's got sunglasses on as well. It's pretty cool.
Well, so what do you like to do in your free time? I mean, besides going to karaoke bars and things like that, and going to thrift stores.
I'm pretty quiet in my free time. I really just love hanging out with my friends that I don't get to see that often. So I'm back in Australia at the moment, so I've got to see my family and my friends who I haven't seen for quite some time, which is really, really lovely. I'm a big foodie, so I just love going out for dinners and having a few wines and catching up with friends, or going hiking. I go hiking a lot in LA, which is so nice, having the hills that are really close to where I live. So anything outdoors and around nature and being near the ocean or in the hills or whatever, I kind of love staying fresh. So yeah, that's about it really. I don't party as much now in my time. I used to party a lot, but I don't really do that in my time off now, because you're in clubs and things like that all the time for work. So when I have time off, I like to be fairly quiet and just catch up with people I care about and stuff.
Oh, so nice. So if you could do one amazing outdoors thing, like a climb a mountain or something like that, what would it be?
I really enjoy rock climbing. I only tried it a few times, but I really quite like the rock climbing and abseiling kind of thing. I'd love to get into that a little bit more. I also kind of the flying fox things I really love as well. They're very fun. So stuff like that, or diving. It's like snorkeling, things like that as well. Ocean. Yeah.
All right, you sound pretty adventurous.
Oh, sometimes. Sometimes it depends on the mood. But yeah. No, I like adrenaline kind of based things a little bit as well. It's nice to remind ourselves that we're alive a bit, I guess.
Do you find yourself being really inspired to write by nature?
Very much, yeah. I always find, actually, when I was in Bali in between the Indonesian shows last week and sitting by the pool in the villa and stuff with all the birds around, I started writing quite a few new songs there, just being around the sounds of nature and just being outside or whatever. I feel like I can kind of hear my own thoughts a little better, or hear wherever the music's supposed to come down from, in the city where it's like busy and there's stuff going, distractions all the time. It's a little more difficult to stay focused and to write there. So yeah, I do love being around nature, and I grew up in Australia really close to the beach as well, so I was always used to being around animals and being around the beach and that. So it's been a little difficult to adapt to being in busy cities, but I do love that too. Yeah, miss home and miss nature and the outdoors a bit.
You would never think that someone who travels and festivals and shows would love being outdoors like that. I think you're just very city and down earth, and very city person.
Yeah. Well, I kind of am now. I've kind of adapted to that because, you get used to it. But for a start, because I came from what we always thought was a city, but by everybody else's standards is a very, very small country town. And, with all the beach and stuff around, it was very small. And so, for a start, the big cities like London and stuff were a little bit daunting the first time that I moved there. But now I'm kind of that torn between two worlds kind of thing. Because I think if I came back to where it was really quiet full time, I'd probably go a little bit mad as well, because I'm used to the hustle and bustle and something going on all the time. So I need to find a balance where I'm close to a city, but I can still be at the beach or something as well,
You can always come to the US. I'm sure we have all those a 20-minute span,
Yeah, that's why I love LA. It's so close to the beach and the hills and everything, but you've got the city as well. So you've got a good balance. It's nice.
All right, well, when you're ready to come back to LA, we'll take you out. We can do all these three things in like one day. Does that sound good?
That sounds great. That's awesome.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking the time out with us. You're someone that people admire, not just for being able to this, but because of your beliefs. So thank you so much for sitting down today.
Oh, cheers. Thank you so much for talking to me. I really appreciate it. It's the first time I've done this face-to-face live interview thing, so it was really good fun. So thanks heaps for having me.
Great. Cool. So you guys obviously stick around. We've got Just a Mind coming up next week on ATI. And if you guys want to talk to Emma, you guys are more than welcome to use social media and hit her up. It's at Hewitt, correct?
Sorry?
Your social media?
Yeah, Hewitt on Twitter. Oh, yep, all there, yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Sorry.
Have a wonderful day.
It's broken up just at that very moment. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Really nice to talk to you. Sorry.
Bye.